Welcome to Black and Gold Digital Edition, a behind-the-scenes look at your Pittsburgh Steelers.
Hi everyone, and welcome to week 3 of the Black and Gold Today Digital Edition. Mike Fenner along with Kent Urbanski. I'm Jay Puskar, and guys, it's already week 3. The Steelers coming off a very big and important victory at home against the Denver Broncos, but yet there's still a lot of work to be done, especially offensively. They looked a little sluggish in the second half, but they're grateful to walk away with a victory.
There's nothing better than that, though. When you have so much you can improve on, say we haven't even come close to scratching the surface of playing our best football, and we're 2-0, hard to beat that.
Kent, what does that say, too, especially not having any preseason games, that a lot of these organizations, they're probably treating the first 3 or 4 weeks of the regular season as their tune-ups and try to get their legs underneath them?
I'm just impressed that we're getting to week 3. I really didn't, I didn't think we'd even get this far. I thought it would get shut down, so I was wrong about that. But yeah, I mean, I think you're seeing some things like the injury bug that are happening with some teams that I think is a direct result of not having preseason games and things like that. So, and a little bit of maybe a little bit of rust, a little bit of timing issues, but I'm expecting to see a little bit better two halves of football this weekend against the Texans.
And of course, all of last year we praised about the Steeler defense in Kent. I mean, they were the backbone in that victory against Denver, and even Ben Roethlisberger saying, look, we didn't play our best football offensively, and thank goodness that we had our defense to bail us out and protect that victory.
You know, I don't know who was watching that game, but it looked to me like that secondary for the Steelers was getting scorched by a backup quarterback, nevertheless. So I'm hearing all this praise for the defense, and yes, they were the front seven was stout, but boy, they gave up some big plays to a backup quarterback who, to his credit, laid in some great balls to the wide receivers. But I'm expecting that to change this weekend against Deshaun Jackson. That's going to be a little bit more of a challenge.
And Mike, is that what it is with that front seven, is just how good they are? They kind of camouflage maybe some of the weaknesses in that secondary?
Could be, but also you got to consider, I think Fitzpatrick has been really quiet for this team so far.
Extremely quiet.
We were talking about how much of an impact he had immediately when he got traded over here last year with this team. I think you'd like to see a breakout game from a guy like him. I think he kind of brings some pressure up into that linebacker level at times from his safety spot. But yeah, a lot of the secondary players you could kind of see some of that masking because of the pressure and the 7-sack game against Denver, things of those nature. But yeah, I mean, I kind of want to look at him and see what he can bring to the table here in week number 3 and see if Fitzpatrick can make more of an impact.
I don't know if that's a result of them game planning for that, to just stay away from him or what, but
that could be it.
Yeah, he's just been kind of non-existent in these first 2 games, but I think he'll step up in this game.
Kent, you mentioned about the injury bugs, and it's not just hitting Pittsburgh, but all across the league too, and just a lot of it, the soft tissue, the tendons, guys are losing ACLs and everything, but the silver lining for at least Pittsburgh's offense, it was great to see James Conner back in the lineup, have over 100 yards rushing and a touchdown. Ben Roethlisberger showing no signs of having a setback as he's made the return to the field. You got to be happy with how the health of this team has been so far through the first 2 weeks.
Right, boy was I, but I was wrong. A whole week just changed everything. I'm ready to anoint Benny Snell the starting running back after a great performance against the Giants, but now he's putting the ball on the ground, so that changes things real quick, and Tomlin does not like that. It was nice to see James bounce back, but really, I mean, I don't think he had a great game. I think 45 yards and before the big 59 rip-off at the end. So, but he got through the game healthy, and I'm expecting him to bounce back and have an even better game this week. However, with Ben, I'm kind of worried that running game is not giving them enough balance, and I'm worried that he's having to throw the ball too much, and down the road that might have a little effect on that repaired arm. I'm hoping that they get a little bit more of a balanced attack.
And of course, they're going to host the Houston Texans coming up, and that's a front line that's got some great talent up front, headlined by J.J. Watt. And one of the concerns throughout last week was Roethlisberger just not being able to get nice passing lanes to throw to his targets, a lot of passes being deflected. And what kind of a concern could that be going into this matchup?
A huge concern, and luckily we're optimistic that David DeCastro could be and should be back in the lineup this week on the offensive line to help protect. But still, even so, Houston's one of those teams, a rare team on the defensive line where they can get pressure with just that front four. They don't have to blitz nearly as much as other teams have to do or scheme things up. So J.J. Watt, obviously familiar with T.J. Watt brothers. That matchup's going to be fun. Obviously not going head-to-head against one another, but still the familiarity there. And J.J. Watt has had a nice season. I think he had 2 sacks this past week despite a loss. And this Houston team, 0-2, but you have to think they don't look like an 0-2 team after playing arguably the 2 best teams in the league, if not the AFC, at least in Kansas City and Baltimore. So a tough draw out of the gate for Houston in terms of schedule, 0-2, but Houston can't sleep on, Pittsburgh can't sleep on this Houston team that desperately needs a win.
And Kent, how deceiving is that? We always look at the record and, oh, they're 0-2 and they're playing terrible, but yet you look at that matchup, I mean, that's a gauntlet to go through to start the first quarter of a regular season.
Right, and I don't know how you guys are with your brothers, but I've always got these little side bets going on with mine, so you know there's something going on.
We're kind of like the Watts. I'm the oldest of 4 in my family. I have a sister and 2 brothers, and boy, I tell you, there's the game within the game that takes place no matter what goes on.
Right, I'm just hoping JJ's not on the receiving end of the payout at the end of the week, you know, and putting some hits on Ben Roethlisberger, you know. Hey, I'm just looking for a good football game, you know, and these matchups are, especially like Mike said, with having David DeCastro back, but they move Watt all around. So I don't know that they're going to have matchups one-on-one with each other. I mean, they're going to move him to whatever they feel is the weakest opponent on the offensive line for the Steelers and getting his rushes in there. So it's going to be interesting to watch.
Kent, what's the key to victory for you?
Stop Deshaun Watson, you know. I mean, the guy, I mean, we have great pass rushes with the edge rushers, but I'm looking for that guy. He can take off up the middle on you and gain big yardage that way. So I know you're going to have to spy him, maybe with Bush or somebody who's got some speed to minimize his run effort. I think if they do that, everything else, I think they're very well built to stop.
Mike, what about you?
It's hard to go against anything. I mean, really, I think that is the biggest key. Is Deshaun Watson is the absolute X factor in this game. I think he is the X factor. Both sides of the ball, and no matter how you slice it, he's just so dangerous with his feet. Can launch the ball downfield, but obviously no DeAndre Hopkins this season. I mean, that's a huge help for the Steelers secondary and for the entire Steelers defense not to have to play, I think, arguably the best receiver going in the game. And we're seeing that in Arizona right now with how he's producing and putting up numbers. But still, Will Fuller, Randall Cobb, they have some capable pass catchers. But, Watson, that running element is going to be tricky. The rush lanes, the potential spies, who they try to put where, that's going to be the biggest key. And, if he is able to convert third downs and cause trouble, it could be a long day. But otherwise, could be a quick lead and go from there for Pittsburgh if they're able to get off the field.
I'm really glad they have this game first against the Texans and are going to see a guy like Deshaun Watson. It's a good tune-up for what you're going to see down the road with the guy there in Baltimore.
Yeah, he's not too bad of a quarterback the way he's playing, and he's already off to an MVP level going into 2020. All right, guys, thank you so much. We'll see how the Steelers fare. We'll see if they try to make it 3-0 to the start and try to make it back-to-back home victories at Heinz Field. So for Kent Urbanski and Mike Fenner, I'm Jay Puskar. Thanks for watching. We'll talk next week.
Thanks for watching. Join us again next week for Black and Gold Digital Edition.